Ladies and gentlemen, it is Valentine's Day, and at this time of the year, our hearts are open for the topic of love. And so I want to use this opportunity to plant a seed of hope in the heart of everyone who is single and water a family tree of all of you out there who is already married. Sadly, in my life, I did not have a father, a man from who I would be able to learn how to love and give love to others. And so I had to figure this all out all by myself. And in this conversation, I'm going to share my story of how I met my life and a decade of my personal observation on the topic of love. There is only one thing, is that I wish I would have learned this sooner. I think we started going to church when I was 4, and I learned a lot from the Bible on the topic of love. And so, since when I was very little, I knew that I only want to have one wife for my whole life. And this helped me to stay away from the relationships just for the sake of having relationships. You see, by nature, I'm very kind and can be easily hurt, especially with words. And so there was one quality that I was searching for looking at the girls, and that would be kindness. In Bible you can see countless examples of how kind wife can be a great wife. And so I was thinking, what can I bring to the table to deserve such a wife? For me, it is very important to be able to talk about everything. And I imagine back when I was in the Ukraine that I would have an amazing marriage and we would not be fighting. We would be able to solve everything that life throws at us. And way before I met my fiance, I was already deep in love with her. I remember praying to God for her well-being, and I was trying to understand, or like trying to guess, what would she love in me way before I actually met her. And so I was thinking, I think she wouldn't mind if I would be fit. And at around the age of 17, I decided to do push-ups in between of the battles in World of Tanks. I was playing lots of strongholds and games for like 3-4 minutes, and so I was doing 10-15 push-ups between those games. And eventually I learned how to do handstand push-ups, and if you're watching me on Twitch, you can see it happening from time to time. But it is difficult to have religious view on relationship when the whole world is talking otherwise. And in our student dorms we had a guy who found a girl from literally next door, and he would bring her like overnight, and they would have sex while I was trying to sleep on top. It was disaster, and like it was difficult, guys. It was, but because I knew that I was doing it for the sake of my own relationship in the future, I was staying true to what I believed in, and I do not regret anything. I think when I was around 20 years old, I went in Germany for the first time. My friend invited me to help him break some walls inside the house as he was renovating it. And so I was working during the day, and in the evenings I was reading a book. It's called 5 Languages of Love. And that book changed my life forever. When I finished the book, I finally realized that people receive and give love in different ways. Remember how earlier I said that I'm a kind person and can be easily hurt by words, especially? That's because my language of love is words of affirmation. So whenever people praising me for my work, I feel loved. And that's why I love reading your comments. Like, doing YouTube is literally a dream job for me, because I try to do my best. You like it, you leave a comment, and after every video I'm reading a comment and people saying, okay, the quality is better, the video is nice, and I feel loved by you by doing what I love. that's where I realized that my sister has a different language of love. Every time we met, she would not come off my shoulders, and for me it was a little bit strange. Like, I couldn't understand before reading the book, but after I realized that's how she's feeling love. And so now, every time we meet, I hug her on every occasion to show my affection, to show my love to her in a way that she can understand. And shortly after, I talked about this book and how I feel loved to my family, and I asked them to praise me whenever I was feeling bad. And I think it is for the first time ever where I truly felt loved. I would just come over to my brother and would be bragging however many subs we have, or we hit like a peak viewers on Twitch, and I would ask them for a wow effect, and they would be like, "Wow, you're so good, you are amazing, we are very proud of you." And those moments are very precious to me. It might feel to you, as you listening, a little bit fake, but that's how I feel love. And I think talking about this topic is very important. Like, people wandering through lives, never getting something so essential like love, and it's probably even more important than breathing for some people. And so if you never felt truly loved, I would recommend you starting with this book, 5 Languages of Love, to learn how you feel love and how others around you can receive love in a better way. Now that I think about it, it is probably the beginning of my character development, of learning how I function and trying to have a logical explanation of my feelings and my motivation. And around that time, I developed a habit. When people would hurt my feelings, I would tell them about it. And I have a perfect illustration about this. So imagine we have 2 gardens with the somewhat small fence just to separate the two. And when my neighbor is working in his garden, he finds a rock and he decides to throw it in my garden. And this rock is everything that you might not like. And what I like to do is to get this rock, walk over to the fence, and call the neighbor saying, "Listen, my friend, the way you said it to me," and I'm talking about words because it highly resonates with me. For you, it can be anything else. And so I hold these bad words that they throw towards me, and I say, "Man, the way you said it really hurt me. I do not like how you said it. Please don't do it again." And I return the rock. I cannot recall a single case where I would open up about how I feel or what hurt me, and people would use it against me. And after trying this technique countless times, I realized that it has 2 effects. First, it is just your imagination, and the way people said it, they really didn't mean to hurt it, at least for the most cases. And second is that I don't have to play a chess game in my head thinking, okay, they hurt me. Now what I would say to hurt them back, and what would they respond, and I would say this in return, and have this whole chess match trying to have battle that never going to happen. So instead, I just return this rock back to them, and I can move on, live my life without those feelings affecting my mood. Little did I know that those moments of communication would play significant role in my life right now. And because I was able to openly talk about my feelings and get positive results, gained courage of talking about my weaknesses and be totally fine with it. I met my fiance at my lowest point in life. I was alone in Germany, far from the family who was stuck in the Ukraine where the war was raging. I was depressed and waiting for the war to be over so I can go home. But months and months go by and I'm still here in Germany. And there was this girl in the chat that was German too, and I was asking her where to find yellow bags for the plastic when we are sorting trash. And at some point we started talking on the Discord, and I started talking about the most important that I had at the time, my feelings, and I was feeling bad. And turns out she was feeling bad too. And we started talking about what makes us depressed, and I figured out that for me it was the food that I was ordering. It's staying late in the bed. So I was staying in the bed to the point when I was no longer able to stay awake watching videos on the phone. And so I would fall asleep at 2, wake up at 10 and stay on the phone again maybe until 3 when I'm hungry and I have to leave the bed. Ordering the food gets at 5, eating the food, get food coma immediately, and going back to bed. And in this cycle there was no room for anything. And as I was sharing this with her, I realized, wait, this is what makes me bad. And I suggested to her a technique that cured my depression and hers as well. We decided to pretend just for one day that we are totally normal, that we aren't depressed anymore, and we would do what we would usually do when we are highly motivated. And so next morning, actually it started before, I decided to turn off my phone as I went to bed, so I got a good night of sleep. When I wake up, I put the music on, went into the shower, go get groceries, cook for myself, and ever since then, guys, I'm happy as I've never been before. And all of this was possible because of you. Because I had a job as a streamer, I was able to make money no matter from where I was working. I went in Poland to a friend of mine, and after that I end up in Germany. This is a little bit of my love story with me and my fiance, and my words of appreciation for everyone who is watching. If you are single now, guys, if I may give you advice, like I did not have a father or anyone who would show me the direction of where to go, I can say that you can use this time to work on yourself, to prepare for the time when you meet your queen. And there is one more favor that I would like to ask you. Please treat your woman like you would treat a queen, and then they are going to treat you as a king. Thank you very much for listening. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and we will see you soon again.